President Muhammadu Buhari has signed the updated Abuja Commitment on Polio Eradication aimed at spelling out the roles and involvement of the federal, state and local government in the fight against polio in Nigeria. Signing the agreement at the Aso Rock Presidential Villa Abuja, President Buhari stated that all hands will be on deck to make sure that Nigeria is certified polio-free come 2017.
This gives me comfort that we are on the right track to ensure our children and grandchildren will never know of polio and its adverse impacts on lives and livelihood. Here, I will commend and thank all our partners, including both Mr. Gates and Alhaji Aliko Dangote, for their personal commitments to this worthy cause. I would like to assure you that the federal government will continue to provide strong oversight and funding for polio program. To this effect, we will constitute an expanded presidential task force on polio, which will include 36 state governors to sustain the successes of our current polio eradication activities, such as surveillance and routine immunization programs.
Giving an overview about the updated Abuja Commitment, the Honorable Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, and the Executive Director of Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Ado Mohammed, emphasized that it is not yet Uhuru, as there is still 2 years of intensive surveillance.
I want to thank the governors here today for their tremendous leadership and remind everyone that the job is not yet finished. We have to go 2 more years without a single polio case anywhere in our country before WHO can certify Nigeria polio-free and polio eradicated.
The Abuja Commitment is a accountability tool that was conceived to encourage governors to provide political oversight and personal leadership in terms of driving the program in their respective states.
Bill Gates and Aliko Dangote, who are the foremost development partners in the fight against polio in Nigeria, also promised their unflinching support for the fight against polio.
You have fought polio for more than 2 decades. You are this close. I have every confidence you will do it. And I will certainly be here to celebrate with you when the country is declared polio-free.
Once we get through to the next 2 years to become a polio-free, then the whole Africa is free from polio, because we are actually the only ones left.
Governor Abdulaziz Yari, the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, who responded on behalf of the 36 state governors, promised to work closely with his colleagues to make sure that polio become a thing of the past.
And our commitment today, as governors and federal government, we will do everything possible within our midst, as we started earlier since 2009 with Brigade Foundation. Will remain committed to ensure that by 2017 to January 2018, Nigeria is polio-free.
High point was the signing of the updated report by President Muhammadu Buhari, supported by the chairman of the Governors Forum, Abdulaziz Yari. It will be recalled that Nigeria has not recorded any case of polio in the last 18 months. In Abuja, I am Festus Ejirogan Efifen for Ben Television.
The Senate has commenced debate on the general principle of 2016 federal government budget and the state of the economy. Leading the debate on the budget, Senate leader Ali Ndume said the budget will ensure that the economy is revived and deliver growth in the country.
I believe that all the proposals in this budget are laudable and are tailored to meet the critical needs of this country at this point of our democratic evolution and to deliver on the dividends of democracy, especially the first year of this administration. I therefore urge you all to support the second reading of this bill. And
Senator Enaya Abaribe of PDP while commenting on the budget, said the proposal is dead on arrival following the continued crash of the crude oil price at the international market.
In the wrong direction because it says here, quoting the Senate leader, that it is based on zero-based budgeting, requiring all expenses on projects and programs to be fully justified. Mr. President, a budget that increases spending up to 30% based solely on borrowing. In what way is it justified? That is the question that we want to ask the people who brought this budget of change. A budget that moves domestic spending within Aso Villa from 580 million to 1.7 billion cannot be a budget of change.
In his submission, Senator Ahmed Lawal from Yobe State said the 2016 budget will bring hope to Nigerians.
We have a budget that provides 30% in the first instance and so many other social safety nets that will give those most disadvantaged Nigerians that are most vulnerable, that have little or nothing, some hope.
Senator Gbenga Ashafa from Lagos State declared that the budget has what it takes to change the course of Nigeria.
So the project is Nigeria. And if the project is Nigeria, then we must see this 2016 budget as indeed the budget of change. In the right direction. I will point out two major issues. And I'll be fair to all in this, particularly Nigerians. One is the intervention concerning the 5,000 cash transfer to Nigerians who are challenged one way or the other.
Other senators who debated on the budget proposal called for diversification of the Nigerian economy. The debate on the general principle of the budget continue tomorrow. From National Assembly Complex, Abuja, Muyo Bamdele reporting.
Suites, number 1 AMO Road off Epotro, GRA, Benin City, Edo State. Website www.prestigehotel.com.ng. Email info@prestigehotel.com.ng. Telephone number 070-620-84038, 081-519-74044. Prestige Hotel and Suites, world-class hospitality.
International advocacy group Action Aid in its latest report says Nigeria lost about $3.3 billion as a result of extraordinary tax breaks granted by government to some of the world's biggest oil and gas companies between 1999 and 2015. Country Director Action Aid Nigeria Ojobo Atuluku disclosed this in Abuja during the launch of the report, Leaking Revenue: How a Big Tax Break to European Gas Companies Has Cost Nigeria Billions.
Action Aid researches from 2013 show that tax incentives cost developing countries at least $138 billion each year. Part of that amount is an estimated amount of $2.9 billion or a whopping 577 billion naira, which Nigeria forfeits every year as a result of tax incentives, as was revealed in our last report, the West African giveaways. Much of these funds would have gone into social infrastructure development. There are incontrovertible evidence from researches conducted in many developing nations that corporate profits are soaring. Corporate investments in low-income countries have tripled since the 1980s.
She called on the National Assembly not only to review the existing laws on tax incentives, but also exercise caution in the proposed amendment to the Companies Income Tax Act 2004.
The proposed amendment aims to provide additional tax incentives for gas utilization, mining sectors, and businesses located in areas with inadequate infrastructure. It suggests increasing the length of specific sectors' tax holidays and offering a 10-year tax holidays to companies established where no infrastructure such as electricity, water, or tarred road is provided by the government. As a consequence of this new bill, more foreign companies will be allowed to benefit from large tax breaks, as the 3 oil companies in this case study did.
Earlier, a member of Nigerian House of Representatives, Herman Hambe, in his submission, said the country has lost huge amounts due to tax avoidance practices and tax breaks granted to companies.
Let me use this opportunity to call on my colleagues at the House of Representatives and the Senators to exercise caution in the deliberation on the proposed amendments to the corporate income tax, which seeks to extend the granting of pioneer status to companies from 5 to 10 years. This cannot be in the interest of the country at a time as this, when the country is in need of revenue.
Action Aid also called on multinational companies to be transparent about their finances, including reporting their profits, sales, assets, number of employees, and tax payment to government in each country where they operate. From Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports. Nigerian Union of Teachers (NUT) has commended federal government in its plan to recruit 500,000 teachers for the nation's basic education and secondary school, but warned against using the policy as a means of compensation for political patronage, as it was practiced in the past. National President NUT Comrade Michael Olukoya, who disclosed this at the solemn assembly of the Union in Abuja, explained that the intention of federal government was laudable and in line with its demand for the employment of more professional teachers to address the identified problem of shortage of manpower in the nation's basic education sector.
We want the government of Buhari, who is a no-nonsense person, who has zero tolerance for corruption and what have you, not to allow the politicians to hijack by way of compensating their political colleagues with this appointment. See, what I am saying in essence is that engineers, architects, lawyers cannot make good teachers in our classroom.
The had made it very clear. Whatever employment we want to do must include the union, which of course we know our colleagues, we know those who are professional, so they don't go into recruiting quacks and later blame it on anybody.
He also advised federal government to involve teachers in the implementation of the school feeding scheme, stressing the need for the program to be channeled to the poor.
What we are saying is that wherever, whether it is federal government, whether it is state government, I think the children of the poor in this country deserve to be treated well. This will be the only time. This will be the only time that the children of the poor will have anything that from education sector, that they have something they can point to as a dividend of democracy.
Let our home economic center handle the preparation of this food. Let NUT be part of the disbursement of this money from the top to the bottom of where the money will get to. And I have just mentioned to you the home makers all to take care of the cooking. We don't bring a caterer from outside to come and cook for our children, which we don't even know.
The union also called on state governors that are yet to pay workers' salary to do so in order to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerian teachers. From Abuja, LM Chukwemeka report for Ben TV.